We're downsizing a bit now from large-scale horticulture to a small avocado orchard further north in the Bay of Plenty. The wind had just blown through when producer Sally Round turned up at pruning time in August.
This morning we woke up and the gazebo that we normally have here was upside down against the shed.
Really?
Because the wind last night uprooted it, so yeah.
Weather challenges, that's all part of being in horticulture.
And we've just begun to, I think we appreciated that probably the first 2 or 3 weeks we were here.
Yeah.
Being inside jobs in Wellington, it didn't matter, right? As long as it was sunny in the weekend.
It's a big change moving from your IT job in Wellington to growing avocados, especially when the weather doesn't play ball. I'm with Tim Rosamond and Michele Ricou on their property near Katikati. Michele had popped out briefly from her home office. Her job working remotely as an IT service manager came with her to enable Tim to get onto the orchard.
We were both in jobs where the phones were ringing all the time, lots of issues and escalations, and just everything just keeps...
What was that moment when you said, I need to go and grow avocados in the Bay of Plenty?
I think the main light bulb was some very good friends of ours. They have an orchard about 20 minutes from here. And we did a road trip at Easter, and we called in to see them on the way back down to Wellington. And we were standing on their deck, looking out over their orchard. The sun was shining. Wellington was having a typical Easter weather. Weather was terrible. We were like 10 degrees warmer up here, and we looked at each other and went, wow, this looks like a pretty cool lifestyle. And you don't live in Wellington for the weather. So we felt like, okay, now's a good time.
Did you know anything about growing things beforehand?
Ironically, Michelle's got the green thumbs.
I love growing. I've loved growing vegetables ever since I was a kid. Yeah, I used to sell them to the neighbours.
And were you from rural backgrounds yourselves?
No, not at all, no.
So this was the deep end.
Deep end. We're standing outside the shed. It's just off one of the main roads towards Katikati, isn't it?
Yes. In fact, this road that we're on has actually got some of the best performing both kiwi fruit and avocado orchards. So we've definitely bought in the right location. And we're not far above sea level, which means our frost risk is quite low here as well.
How many hectares?
3.8 hectares in total, of which 3.4 is planted out in avocado trees.
And how many trees, and what sort are you growing?
So we grow Hass, which is about 85% of the world's avocados. And we have 260 of these big trees that are coming up 30 years old.
Yes, they are big trees, aren't they? I was just going to say.
Believe it or not, these trees were actually 50% bigger than this when we arrived.
So you've done a lot of work over the 3 years you've been here.
Yeah. This, I would say, especially this part of the orchard would probably be unrecognisable from 3 and a bit years ago. There wasn't any light getting onto the ground, so the ground was just bare dirt.
So the branches would have been all joining up almost, and it had been quite dark in here.
It was like going into one of those European cathedrals. You know, it was cold, even in summer it was cold, and it was dark.
Yeah.
And when we did the pruning, it was like the worst storm had ever come through.
Yes.
People say we escaped Cyclone Gabrielle, but we had it here.
Yeah.
Did that improve production?
Yes.
How much by?
Well, the thing with avocado trees is the pruning you do today is for production in 2 and 3 years' time. So we're only just getting to that point now where we're starting to get fruit back onto the parts of the tree that we pruned off. But the good thing about it now is that first year's harvest, all of our fruit was in the top third of the tree. So when it came to the harvesting time and the cost of harvest, it was astronomical.
What did you do, ladders?
We picked just over 200 bins that year, and only 4 of those bins were picked from the ground. All the rest were picked with the ladders. So so that's when we decided we needed to do something to get production closer to the ground. So the 50% prune was our first approach to how do we get these trees better under control.
And what are we seeing now? Should we go up and have a look and walk down some of the rows?
Yeah. So you'll see where we've painted the ends of the trees to help protect them against fungal infection. But those limbs that we pruned off would have been all the way out.
Wow.
They were like 12 metres high. So now you can start seeing we're starting to get avocados back on the areas that we've pruned off.
Yep.
So now we can actually pick from the ground on some of these trees.
And
as opposed to
way up the top there.
Yeah, we're still work in progress.
Yeah.
Our pruning program is going to take us 8 to 10 years.
Really?
Yeah,
And do you get workers in to do that?
No, the first year we got a contractor in because I still had my learner plates on. But the last two lots of pruning I've been doing myself. So
And that was a big learning curve for you.
yeah, definitely. Like,
What did you do?
I never owned a chainsaw. The good thing is the community in this area is very sharing. There's lots of field days, lots of opportunities to talk to other growers. So I normally go on every field day that's on offer, and we wander around other orchards, looking at what they've been doing. But no two orchards are the same, so you've sort of got to pick what might work for you. Just ask questions. One thing I underestimated coming from the IT industry was how much information used to come at you every day, and you used to be able to make sense of it because technology changes so rapidly. So coming to this industry, I was always in that mindset of, I'm just going to learn. I'm just going to learn, talk to people, subscribe to all the online publications I can, and just absorb as much as I can. So in 3 years, it's sort of been drinking from the fire hose, but I finally feel like now I've got enough information. I just need the experience of just applying what I've learned.
And we're moving into the picking sort of season, which goes on a long time. How's the fruit looking?
They are alternate bearing. So last year we had our biggest crop. This year we're having a much lighter crop. But we actually timed that pretty well because the first 2 years the returns for growers weren't very good. Last year the returns were actually the best they'd been for a little while. The first year we arrived here was Cyclone Dovey. The second year we had Cyclone Gabriel. The nemesis of avocado trees is wind, because once that fruit starts rubbing, the fruit quality gets impacted and all that fruit gets rejected out of export. And it's really only the export quality fruit that you make a decent return on as a grower. Last year we sort of banked a little bit, so this year we've gone harder on the pruning. So rather than spacing the pruning out over 8 to 10 years, we're now looking to accelerate some of that.
So we could take you through to where Tim's just done some pruning.
Yeah.
You'll actually see what, when we say it looks like a storm's hit.
Yes.
Well, they are beautiful trees, aren't they? I mean, you feel like having a picnic under them. They're that sort of tree.
And that's what it is. We find people coming from overseas actually say, wow, it's like being in a park.
Most people coming into the industry for the first time wouldn't choose an overgrown avocado orchard, would they? They probably want to come in at a sort of a much easier level. Did you know what you were in for?
Yes and no. I knew what sort of the main jobs I would be doing would be. The scale of those jobs, though, was quite overwhelming. In the corporate world, you might have weekly, monthly or quarterly goals that you might be focused on. You might even have an annual goal. Here, when I'm talking about having an 8 to 10 year goal, you've got to break things down into manageable chunks. You know,
Otherwise, you just look out and go, oh my goodness,
where
I've
do I
got a
start?
lot of work to do.
Yeah, where do you start? Yeah.
But it didn't take long before reality set in for the townies turned avocado growers.
We had a really good crop the first year, and then when I crunched all the numbers in the spreadsheet and I found out that we didn't make any money that year, I was like, wow, if that's a year that we've had a good crop and we didn't make any money, then I'm not looking forward to a year we have a bad crop. So that's what made us think, okay, Michele was threatening that I'd have to go and get a real job. And I was trying to avoid that for as long, so I'm like, okay, so what else can we do?
So what happened was we got a whole lot of new friends that we'd made over for a sort of an early Christmas dinner. There must have been about 20 people. And Tim took them around the orchard because even though they lived in the area, they hadn't really been on the orchard. So he was gone for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, oh, it's not that big. And when they came back, they were like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And it just sprung from there.
The Michele's talking about is their launch into tourism, hosting an avocado experience. So what percentage is it providing in terms of income?
At the moment, I would say it's probably about 25%, but it's a highly profitable 25%. I was asked actually by one of the Tourism Bay of Plenty people, they said, what's your 5-year vision, Tim? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And I'm like, oh, and I said, actually, what would be great is in 5 years' time, the tourism part was the main income stream. That would be a good outcome. Then we're a bit more in control of our own destiny. I think if we're expecting the avocado industry to all of a sudden go back to the heydays of 10 years ago, I don't think that's going to happen.
They take the visitors on a tour of the orchard and finish up with a tasting session. Last summer, they had about 500 tourists.
Well, we cover off all the interesting things like about how the season operates, how the flowers work. So that's a unique thing about avocados as well, how the flowers are both female and male. And also our story about how we went from IT to growing avocados.
The bees.
The bees, we talk about the bees, because there's a massive amount of learning that I've had to go through about bees and pollination and how all that works. And
Do you have your own bees on site?
No, we don't. And we explain why we don't have bees here, and that's because we're a monocrop. We have more than enough food for bees for 6 weeks of the year when our trees are flowering, but the rest of the time we don't have any food, which means if we had hives here all year round, they would be off foraging, which means when we want them back here focused on the avocados, they may have got a better offer down the road.
So you just rely on them coming?
No, we have a beekeeper.
Oh, you have a beekeeper?
Who we have an agreement with.
Great.
Great guy. So we wait until 5% of our flowers have opened, and then I contact the beekeeper, and he'll wait till night time till all the bees are back in the beehives. He closes up the beehives, they get loaded on the back of his truck, and they arrive here in the middle of the night. And then we put the beehives out, open all the beehives up again, so in the morning when the bees are looking for breakfast, it's avocado flowers for the next 6 weeks.
There's a smorgasbord awaiting them.
Yeah, and we have so much food for the bees that our beekeeper normally brings in 20 hives each year. He takes away about 30 because they just keep reproducing. But it's nice to know he gets something out of it as well. And there is such a thing as avocado honey, which we found last year. So for our gourmet tour, we offered avocado honey for people to try, and the feedback's been amazing. So this year, he's going to retain a lot more of the honey, and we're going to jar that up and sell that as well.
The history of avocados, the culture and traditions around avocado, have you had to sort of gen up on that?
Yeah, that's definitely been part of my research and learning about where they originated from, what the original uses of avocado were. Ironically, it was known as poor man's butter. I'm always picking up information. And like little anecdotes, like when the Super Bowl was on in America, guacamole and the Super Bowl are synonymous, right? Everyone that has a Super Bowl party at their home, there's always guacamole. Well, there's enough guacamole consumed on that one day of the Super Bowl to use half of all of New Zealand's avocados.
That's incredible.
So that puts it into context. We are a very small part of the overall global avocado world.
But there have been gluts of avocados, haven't there?
Yeah, that's the supply and demand. We don't have a Zespri or a Fonterra model for avocado growing, which means it's a little bit of the Wild West. Anybody can plant avocado trees. And that's what happened 10 years ago. Everyone was planting, assuming the money would always be there. So the supply got well ahead of demand. And mostly it was Australia that was the golden goose for New Zealand for many years, because 80% of our exported avocados used to end up in Australia.
But then they started planting.
Yeah, Western Australia in particular.
Yeah.
And the Western Australian avocado season mirrors the New Zealand season. So now when Queensland runs out of avocados, they can just ship them over from WA. And up until last year, it was, sorry, New Zealand, we don't need your avocados anymore.
Where is the biggest demand coming from for avocados now?
I'd say in the Asian markets at the moment. When you look at global consumption, Central American countries lead the way. I think Mexico's 8.5 kilos of avocados per person per year. China is 200 grams. But India is the other big country that's really growing at the moment. Given a lot of their population are vegetarian, I think the story with avocados having lots of good healthy fats and oils really fits well with somebody trying to lead a vegetarian diet as well. So you won't need many Indians to start consuming a little bit more avocado, and all of a sudden there won't be enough supply again. Yep. And I think the rain's about to come too by the feel of that.
The rain is. More rain.
Yeah, yeah.
You have become expert at picking out the avocado merch, I see. You've got avocados on your sweatshirts, you've got the avocado baseball cap, and you've got the avocado tablecloth. Oh, and
socks.
Michelle's even pointing out avocado socks that Tim's wearing.
We're all in on avocados. No, there's our mission statement there. to share our passion for avocados with visitors from all over the world, creating lasting memories and a lifelong love of avocados. So that's what so I often ask my visitors, how are we doing? Are we on mission? And often they go, absolutely. So
this is the shed where they end up?
if we have a bigger group, we'll set up the gazebo. If we just have a smaller group, we'll just do it in. So the shed with my nice curtain there that partitions off my mess on that side, this becomes tour HQ for most of the time. Michele would say I overspent on the toy budget. No, with everything that we needed for the orchard. So there wasn't a lot of capital left over to start spending money on a tourism operation. So we did it the first year, we pretty much did it on the smell of an oily rag. And now we're starting to get a bit more confidence, so we're just starting to invest. And we've also had some of the tour operators say, how big can you go? Like, could we bring a 40-seater coach in here? So I've now sounded out some other growers that are in a similar situation to myself, self-employed, living in the area, who I know could also provide a similar sort of walking, talking experience. Hopefully we will expand and we'll have other people, other locals that we can use as part of the tour.
Time to take a tortilla chip and guess the secret sauce behind Tim and Michelle's special guacamole.
Coriander.
Chili.
A bit of chili, a little bit of spice. Yeah. Jalapenos.
There's a bit of a kick in there. Yep.
Jalapeno.
Yep. Is there some lime?
Yes, lime juice. There's there's some red onion and tomato. Yeah, and a bit of salt. Bit of Himalayan salt. Yeah.
I got the main ingredients.
Yes.
What do you love most about being an avocado grower?
I love being outdoors and also love the fact that we're growing something that actually has such a big health benefit for so many people. So if we can help do our little bit to increase demand, I feel like we're doing our little bit, helping people live healthier lives by growing something that we know is good for people.
Avocado grower Tim Rosamond. Sally was also talking to Michele Ricou at their orchard near Katikati.